Yes.
We're good to go.
We're just recording this.
So, welcome everybody, thank you for coming, both the council and the members of the public. So, the clerk has just mentioned that we are recording the meeting as before, and indeed I think it's being videoed as well at the same time. So, to receive apologies for absence, I believe it's just Councillor Howell who's unable to be with us. To receive declarations of interest and any dispensations that are required. You all know the score. If there's anything on the agenda where you have an interest, whether it's yourself or a family member or any other pecuniary interest, please let us know immediately. If you can't tell us now, if you can tell us if something comes up. But everybody knows the rules. To approve the minutes, the Parish Council meeting held on the 3rd of September. Okay. Before that, we will do the approval of the minutes from July, which you may recall there was a change to the minutes, and therefore we had to bring it before the council again. But we all agreed the time the change last time, so I'm presuming that nobody wishes to object to the minutes for July. Could I have a proposer for the minutes for July? Councillor Brown. Yes. All those in favour? Thank you.
I wasn't here as a councillor, so.
Much better than mine. Right. Moving on to the minutes from our last meeting in September 3rd. So we've all seen the minutes of the meeting, which were corrected. Has anybody got any queries on the minutes itself, or as a fair record?
Well, one small item, the electrical charging project, the comment on there is that I was given the targets for the project, when in fact it was me who supplied them.
Well, it's just there, that's all. How can the project deliver? It has been
I actually supplied this.
supplied by council.
It's not what I was given, and not like it.
Is this a material?
Would you like it to say?
Correct thing.
I would like it to be.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's fine. Wait, we'll not sign these then.
Okay. So,
I will have to sign the next,
the next one.
which is
anything on here that is not being dealt with on the agenda, unless you've seen anything to the contrary. On the minutes from last time. That's what I then we'll deal with everything. Therefore, we'll move on to item 4. So the matters arising from the minutes, not on the agenda, was the EV charging update.
Yes. Would you like that now? Okay.
We appreciate it.
Right. I have revised the list of potential suppliers, boiled it down to a much more local list of about 8. Using what GPT, it's remarkably quickly. It's way in advance of Google. The structure. Anybody who wants to see that list is welcome to have it. I've got 2 potential suppliers doing a free visit next week. One will be Thursday around about 3 o'clock, and the second one will be at 8:30 on Friday morning. So they're going to come have a look and tell me what they think. And dare I suggest it? I did consider in my own mind, without taking it any further, whether we should in fact be doing the charging stations in this car park here rather than across the road, because we are significantly closer to potential power supply sources here, and they're relatively modern. So I don't know what people think of that.
Any views? Obviously, we'll take it.
How many are we intending to have?
That's open at the moment. It's likely to be somewhere between 4 and 6. I
How
imagine.
many is that?
The only issue I would see with putting it here is that we are limited for space. And if we have 4 or 6 people charging up, it reduces the number of spaces available for
We can whack it down to 2 without any problem.
I think also there's a difference with the use of both car parks. So this car park is specifically for all of the village users, as opposed to that car park being
The public
public,
one.
and so it's going to be serving the public better, in my opinion, for it to sit in Martin's Road car park, unless we could add additionally a couple in this car park so that users of the hall could use it. But
Okay, it is likely that we'll have a more significant electrical supply cost over there than over here.
But alongside that, if we do have to have the cost of an electrical supply, many members of the community have spoken about lighting for that car park. So that, you know, maybe something that we can then factor into a better supply, actually putting up some lighting. At Martin Road, yeah.
I assume that we're going to get money back from this company eventually, so that will pay for any outlay that we have to make for it to come in.
Yeah, but we have to factor in all the costs and then look at the return.
And then
on
ourselves,
investment.
obviously, yes. My suggestion would be that we would initially only want to be considering 2, personally, wherever we put them.
Okay.
And with not least the fact that when demand ultimately picks up, there's the possibility of
It's only going to go one way.
But
Demand is going to rise.
I'm not sure we get a large market initially. And maybe not, but the village, of course, has a lot of houses, just to make up the village, so there are lots of houses where you can park at home.
Yeah.
And therefore somebody who has an EV is highly likely to take advantage of doing it at home. So I wouldn't have thought we're going to get a large demand initially for public charging. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying be limited. Go on.
From a planning perspective, the majority of new houses now that are being built have self-charging at home. And as an owner of a fully electric car, which I've had for a long time, it is so easy to do two would be sufficient. And ideally, we're aiming this at people using our car park, which is free. But the original idea with having on-street car park charging was for people that live in flats, primarily, who haven't got that facility. So, that's my...
We don't have a lot of flats in the village.
No, obviously,
Lots of more coming on.
I was just going to say, it's very strange, really, but I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was asking about charging points and were we going to have any in the village. I think perhaps people are thinking about it.
I might also say that we've got a lot of very old properties in the village that may not have, have the capacity to actually have power for, that sort of thing. If you've got an old house or a thatched cottage, the option of actually having a home charging point might not exist. So,
I don't think it's a big problem with most of our electrical installations because the whole point about it, you've got it in your own house and room for it. It's a trickle charger range, it's not one of the fast chargers that you can have at home. So,
Well, that is another choice we have to make, whether we go for trickle charging or fast charging.
I see.
We do
And
have,
I'll look at prices.
we do have people like on High Street, they won't be able to charge their car, I doubt, from home because they have a training cable across. So there are, I think there's probably enough to warrant a couple.
yeah.
To get use.
I would argue more than two personally. You can get electricity cheaper. So I'm only going to bring my work obviously buys in bulk electricity, and we have lots of charging points. So it's cheaper for people to charge at my work, for example, than it is at home, because the electricity is a slightly different price. So that's because they're doing the shift. So if that's the case, for example, and there are several flats. I know all the new estates have got quite a few flats. So I don't think two's enough personally. I would go for 4.
Well, obviously it's a decision for everybody when we've actually got the pricing, but I'm suggesting that I think personally I'll go to 2 initially and see where we go.
I think the triple charges would be largely pointless because they just take too long.
I agree, I think it would have to be a reasonably fast charge. I'm not sure it was 72 was it?
That's a system speed that's going to be fast.
Sorry,
might be worth, in our news article, soliciting the input of people in the village and what they think.
We tend to go on with seeing what comes out of the presentation.
Well, if we don't like it, there's plenty more suppliers we can harass. Sorry, go to it still.
Could take a long time. Anyway, thank you for your efforts. I think that will close at that point. The state of the pavements, we haven't got Councillor Markham with us, but it has been reported and reported on Fix My Street. The state of 2 of the pavements in particular have been drawn to the CC's attention. There is allegedly a long-term plan for pavements. I wouldn't say in the village, across Oxfordshire. I wouldn't, unless we actually have a very badly damaged one, and it needs to be, I'm trying to remember the figure that was quoted, and I think it's a full inch, 25 millimetres. Actual difference in level, if it's less than that, they won't be actually any difference. So I apologise profusely for that, but the truth is it's a matter for OCC and the funding.
But it's not fair because, people are falling over and damaging themselves and, they don't
All I'm saying is back to Fix My Street.
I feel like I Fix My Street a lot, but
Yeah, I know.
It's being forced out on the pavement,
it's terrible.
Yeah.
and it's not fit for purpose.
No, it's not.
We're going to move on now, as this is the time for the members of the public to address us with their points. So, who would like to kick off?
Yeah.
Please.
Right, I want to approach the parking at Martin Road.
Yep.
On Saturday it was extremely bad. We could not even get to some of the residents could not even get to their own homes. I had a food delivery, and he was verbally abused because he was just dropping off groceries because they were parked either side. I've sent plenty of photos over to Julia. They're parking on the drop curb, so you can't get the wheelchairs, scooters, buggies, anything. One was actually parked by the car park lengthways on the pavement, so you couldn't even use that pavement. There's always, I'm sorry to say, I don't know if you're football fans or not, but there's always a couple of transit vans parked right on the junction as you turn in that go to the football. And according to the Highway Code section 243 and 242, there should be at least 15 foot to 32 foot away from the junction. Pardon me?
Yes, in fact, I thought
Yeah.
it was metricated to 6 metres, but
Well,
I'm still
that's what
correct.
we've done. So I
Which
don't
is
know,
20 foot.
but they're just not thinking about the elderly residents. You know, there's an awful lot of elderly residents in the bungalows. Plus, the not just us in the southern ones, but again, the Hamilton ones, around the corner. And I mean, one of our neighbours, I've spoken to a fair few of them, he had to reverse back out onto the main road and go around the long way to get parked round into the sovereign car park for his bungalow that end because there was not enough room to go through. It's absolutely diabolical. It's not safe. You have to keep going like this to edge out to see if you can safely cross the road. There's going to be, it was an accident waiting to happen, or even a death in that place. So I don't know. I've come up with suggestions. That's not going to work. But now the bowls are finished. They finished their season. Perhaps the football club and the bowls club get together. Perhaps the football club could use their car park when it's not being used for them, just to take some of the strain off the road. Or perhaps the football club could talk to the new school and see if they could use their car park, even if they offered a donation or something towards the school, just to take that mess off of the road. It's absolutely awful. It really is. I mean, you could never ever have got an emergency vehicle up there. There's a lot of people there with illnesses. I mean, the carers of my next door neighbour, they had to park way, way up on Saturday, and they come 4 times a day. It's just not on. It's really, there's something that we can suggest or do. Or
In the same way that cones are put out for Fate Day.
oh, they don't take any notice.
I'm wondering whether cones are
No.
football days.
I mean, it wasn't Scouts, what was it? It was the Scouts, wasn't it? They put all the
Yes.
thing. But they were still parking. The Fate Day, you can understand, it's once a year. But when it comes, and it's great to have all these sporting activities and activities going on in the village, it keeps the village alive. But it's just so dangerous. Our car hasn't gone into another car on that junction. Don't know. But when you actually can't get through, and it wasn't just the footballers on Saturday, because it was a big bowls match and we had a big wedding and it was great. But they're just not using their common sense when it comes to the parking.
Maybe it is for the football club to start actually.
It is mainly footballers.
Yeah, maybe the football club should have somebody out actually, some sort of parking warden.
I mean, all you get from football, and I have approached the chairman a couple of times over the years, and all you either get verbal back, or you get, well, once they've gone off the football pitch, then nothing to do with us.
It's wholly unhelpful. One of the things that we might suggest, perhaps, would be to put double yellow lines. First of all,
I don't think they're taking any notice of that one, to be honest.
possibly not, but at least you can attempt to enforce things a bit better. And what I was going to say is that in effect, there ought to be, in my view anyway, we ought to have double yellow lines that cover the wretched 6 metres, and you can get really upset with somebody who's parked, so they can't start for them. The second thing is, I believe that we would benefit immensely if the double yellow lines in fact ran on the far side from here, all the way up to the big, your big lay line. badge holder who are getting in and out of the
Yeah.
pit can still
Absolutely.
do that.
That's fine.
But the
yeah, I
randoms
understand that.
from the football club, the bowls club, or anywhere else who are parking at Martin's Lane would at least be persuaded to park on the left-hand side, on this side. And then there's at least, one side of the road is clear. It is a problem. I live along Colsey Road. I'm aware of the difficulty getting past them. It is very difficult. So I'm not saying that to solve everything, but I believe we should, personally believe we should lobby for that to at least try to alleviate a bit. We can speak to the football club, but I'm afraid I suspect strongly I will get the same, if I did, you'll get the same answer from you, that no, we don't deal with football.
But it's actually, and the other week, I actually watched because they were parked right outside, right, at number 14, and you couldn't get through. And I took photographs and I sent it to you there, and you couldn't get through. And I actually sat in my lounge and watched and waited, and it was actually 3 of their own players, because they were in the Shrivenham strip, and it was only their cars that were causing the problems. So they should have more responsibility, common sense for the village, than perhaps the team, away teams or whatever, they just wanted to park and go. But they were actually 3 of their own players, and I actually did say that.
Chair, can we ask Councillor Malcolm's opinion?
I didn't miss what I
Sorry, you missed that whole
so
bit.
please catch me up.
I was just saying about parking at Martin Road on Saturdays.
Yes.
And it's absolutely awful. Obviously on Saturdays the worst.
Right, yeah.
Or if they got a big match on one evening in the week.
Yeah.
And I understand that we had a wedding and we had balls and everything on Saturday. But you just could not. They were parking in the dock curb. They were parking right on the junction. There was even a car parked on the pavement. Car park. And they didn't even have room for cars to go through. And they had to reverse back and go all the way round just to get to his own house. And one of the other ladies in the Bounty Trust House, I took one up and went up to her fence and waited for it to finish because she couldn't get into her own home with the car.
So these parking issues are happening quite regularly
Oh,
at specific
absolutely.
times? Like, is it tends to be weekends or
It
is it
tends to be Saturday.
tends to be Saturdays?
Councillor Malcolm, we were talking about having double yellow lines at the junction here. That's
Yes.
the worst part.
Yes,
I think
yes,
you
yes.
could help
Yes,
get an
absolutely.
assessment to see whether we could potentially have double yellows. Just
Yes.
to start, and then we can report. And then review from there. That would be a good start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's really dangerous being a teacher and children are so
Absolutely.
So that might have some in the camera. No, Karen.
You could give them your piece of paper.
Oh yeah, I've got,
Oh, yes.
I've got a few more scribbles on there.
Oh, lovely.
There's just some suggestions, that's what they're producing.
Oh,
some
fantastic,
parking.
yes, absolutely, thank you.
Might I ask if anybody else in the public would got anything to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Question. Ugly rumour. Might be extreme, might be fake news. I hear that Shrivenham Park Golf Course has been sold off, 50% of it, 9 holes. Is that true or not? It might be Wattsfield area more than ours, but it would continue on your territory.
News to me.
Yeah. Followed by a survey of flora and fauna. You know what that means?
Well,
That's,
the same have not got planning permission.
no, that wouldn't.
And I think that before they do that, they've got to approach, talk to the Vale,
Yeah.
because there is a stoppage on that.
Yeah. Good.
It's been a stoppage on it for a long time. So I doubt whether that's true. I think it's one of these
It might be
silly
fake
rumours
news.
that go
It could
around.
be just somebody's heard history.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, that's
So
all.
there's definitely no agreement that they could change the usage of that land.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Thank you. Any more?
Just briefly, Chairman, with regard to parking, I did, for those who don't know, I did put in a paper a while ago making some suggestions. I do appreciate that there are ancient deeds that govern the use of the wreck, but there is the possibility for 30 cars to be parked in single file along the cinder track, just turning up into the trees. There's also the orchard, which is just short of the football pitch, the football club. And I do feel that I sympathise hugely. I am a bowler, I do appreciate what the congestion happens around there.
But until another space is found, I don't see a solution. However, the deeds for the recreation ground are 100 years old, aren't they? And I do feel that further reading, I mean, they're very quaint. I did read them before putting in my paper. And, you know, I don't want a wheeled barrow or anything like that. But I do feel that there is an option to have entrance only off the Highworth Road, onto the cinder track, single parking up between the trees. I think I'm right in saying there's room for 30 cars, and they could leave at the far end into Manor Lane. And as long as it was very strictly one way only, and one line of cars, I feel that it would encourage the football club, and indeed it would be parking for football games, cricket, and even the new school on the new path. The children, particularly if they were allowed to enter the school from the bottom gate, because it's not only Martin's Road, outside the new school is quite deplorable. The new school on virgin ground and the traffic is really very bad. And I do feel that it's something, it is a bit long term, but I would appreciate it if some consideration was given to looking seriously at the deeds and see if there's any chance of that. Because, apart from making that entrance only, it could also create a safe crossing over the Highworth Road. It worries me terribly when I pedal up to the Bowls Club, the number of people I see taking their life in their hands, leaving the play park and getting to the other side of the Highworth Road. It's nothing to be proud of. I rest my case. I would like it to be considered. With open minds.
With open minds. Sorry, was there anybody else?
Yeah, it's a short one compared to the others. I'd like you, Chair, to recognise that the statement made in the agenda for this meeting concerning topics for public speaking, and as reflected in your standing orders, is very restrictive in the way that it fails to allow parishioners to come to a parish council meeting and raise new issues, which to them may seem important.
I back that up. It discourages the public rather than encourages the public.
And for example, your agenda, which I tried to read today on the public notice board, is unreadable because the perspex screen is scratched to pieces. So I have good eyesight, I couldn't read it. Okay, so it goes back to previous discussions on communications and everything else. Why is it such a restrictive approach taken by the council?
Well, no.
I agree entirely with you. I mentioned this only yesterday. This is a new thing, and I think it's wrong, and I don't think it should be there. We've always allowed people to come with new items and speak on the night without having to announce beforehand that that's what we wanted to talk about. There are items that come up fairly urgently and they need to be dealt with, so I don't think this is the right thing.
And plus the fact that there are many people in the village, in the parish, who don't feel comfortable doing it online, don't feel comfortable going through the process of writing to the clerk, and I accept that may well be one means, or don't have the time to do it. So this is a very restrictive approach.
Yeah, it is an approach that is also at Farringdon Town Council. They're on our agenda. Those that work.
Where's Shrivenham?
Where's Shrivenham?
Where's Shrivenham?
I've been on a parish council before and it's been open.
Okay, but also, I take your point, also with more time, I'm hoping when we have more staff and available, we can set up cancer surgeries as well.
But that doesn't change the point I'm making. That I believe a parishioner should be able to sit here and ask a question to the councillors, irrespective of whether it's on the agenda.
Yeah, and last time we were over by 4 minutes, so we couldn't do all of the agenda points. So it is about keeping.
I think it's about listening to the parishioners first.
Of course, I take that point, and I do find that scratching of the notices, they're really not in a good state.
So, is the parish council willing to change its standing orders on this matter?
We can look.
We will consider the point you have raised, yes.
I was actually about to raise a point of order on this because there is nothing in legislation which actually supports in the agenda. It's in our standing orders that that particular section is not involved, which means that it is not backed by legislation. It is unduly restrictive.
I will get back to you about that.
We are restricted by the 2-hour rule though, right?
Yes,
That's
we
been
are.
used before, and that is.
We are restricted by the 2-hour rule, but we cannot restrict the public. Actually, we cannot say. But there's nothing in legislation that allows us to restrict the public coming and asking for time.
We've never done it before. This is a new thing. This is
Chairman, I understand why we've done it, and I do appreciate the new clerk keeping to time. I wonder whether we remove it and we stricter on the 3-minute rule.
Yes.
And if we allot maybe a certain amount of time, and if we run over then we take the questions down and we come back to them within a reasonable time. I think restricting completely is wrong, but I understand why we've done it, and I would appreciate going home and not be sat here for sort of 4 hours as well. So perhaps we can find a middle ground between the two.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can.
Just 3 minutes definitely.
Sometimes 3 minutes is not long enough.
No,
I know.
it was, but that's 2 hours.
Just for information, as a former district councillor, at the Vale, you were restricted to 3 minutes, and I think that's
the
where
Vale's rule.
this is happening.
This is Shrivenham, not the Vale.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying.
It's not appeared out of nowhere at all.
We
Can I draw close to that now? We take a point and we will adjust accordingly. Is there another point? Mr. Lord.
Just 2 quick points, please. Following on from Jenny said, I know the County Council, Emma and crew are looking at sorting out what is now a one-way road on the top of Fairthorne, with an extreme number of cars that park there. They can't park for more than 3 hours in the high street. That's one thing. And that was a question, please. Who is funding the potential 2 EV chargers? Who is funding it?
Yeah.
How is it funded?
It is.
Is it me or is it grant?
The intention is to invite the companies to say what is possible in the first instance and how much it would cost. One of the suggestions is that the companies may in effect rent the space to operate from, in which case it costs us nothing other than we've lost 2 spaces, if you like. But what they actually say is what matters, which is why until we've got the answers, I can't answer you honestly. What I will tell you is that there are limited funds for the parish council, and it may be.
Exactly.
But the answer they come up with is unfavourable, and if it is, we will have to think again.
So fingers crossed that the company might contribute. Thank you.
Yes, they might.
Can I just comment about Fairthorne Way? I live in Fairthorne Way, and I think it's great. First of all, because it's taking traffic away from the high street, but it stops all these idiots driving down there at 70 miles an hour, like some of them do. It slows them all down, and they've got to take it more carefully than they have done in the past. It doesn't provide any problem for me. I maybe have to wait a second or two if there's someone coming down the road, or they may have to wait for me if I'm going up the road. But I don't see it as being a problem, and I spoke to quite a few residents, and they were the same opinion.
Just to go back to the EV installations, there is an option for central government to fund part of the installation. So that's part of what I'm going to be doing.
Thank you. Right, I'd like to move on now.
Can I just say thank you very much for letting me have my
Sorry?
say? Thank you very much for letting me have my say. I'm just going to go now. But I can keep to please.
Thank you. County Councillors report.
Yes.
because you're very early this month, obviously on the 1st of the month, so just sent around the September report. I don't know if you've had time to read it, probably not. Just some highlights. So there's a Oxfordshire Rail 2040 consultation that's currently open. I guess the most relevant thing to us would be, or the closest thing to us would be a potential new train station at Wantage Grove. So they're looking at that. There's no other rail developments out this sort of way. Obviously, I think I already mentioned last time about the Stamford in the Vale. There's now a booking system to be able to attend, but they're being very flexible on that, so you can book same day, it's no problem, and if you forget to book, it's no problem. And as we know, there is a congestion charge coming into effect in Oxford City Centre. This is due to the Botley Road closure. It's causing diverted congestion on other roads. Everyone in Oxfordshire is entitled to 25 free visits into Oxford City Centre. You can apply for a permit online. And I know there's a lot of opposition to the congestion charge. I wasn't involved in deciding that. So that's the main things. Other changes that are coming into effect that I'm trying to find out more details on. The A420 is looking at having some speed limit changes. So it's looking at everything that's a single carriageway will all come to 50.
Yeah.
And then the dual carriageway as you approach Oxford will remain national. So they're going to be changing that. They said they'd originally planned for it to be this month, but I doubt it. But those changes will be coming into effect. I don't know when.
I'm delighted to hear that because we spoke about it yesterday at the planning committee meeting. We misunderstood you last time.
Right.
And we thought you were meaning that the whole of the A420 was going to be 50 miles an hour right the way through. When we were going to write you, and I was going to comment about it this evening to say that we didn't like this at all. We thought it was not a good idea.
Yes.
Now that you've got the dual carriageway.
No, the dual carriageway will remain.
That's fine.
Yes.
Is it
Yes.
all the dual carriageway?
I understand so. I haven't seen
I
details.
hope so.
Yes. So that's my understanding. So that was a meeting that we had with the Farringdon traffic meeting. So there was an update there from the highways, and that is the plan. Yes. But any other concerns? Because I know I'm still chasing on if we can get action on the pavements, because I know that was a priority. Is there anything else that you want to raise?
Councillor Webb.
Emma,
Yes.
last time we were here,
Yes.
we were talking about Swindon's local plan.
Yes.
And I asked if you could make sure that OCC respond and
Yes.
that this council gets a copy of the response.
Yes.
I don't know whether you have
We
any
haven't done it
progress.
yet, but I will be raising it, and we.
If you could, because the closing date is looming.
Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Councillor David.
Yes.
Very briefly, I would like to donate poppies to the village. I've seen them done before. They're about 45 centimetres by 30 something centimetres, and they go on the lampposts. You can buy them from the British Legion for a donation, and I would like to see them on the lamppost up the high street per lamppost. I had thought about bringing it to the council today, but then I realised actually the lampposts are under the jurisdiction of highways and the county.
Yes.
So I wondered, collectively, is that something we would be interested in? And secondly, how would we go about getting the permission to do that?
Yeah, so I'd have to talk to highways, but that seems achievable if people are in agreement and they want to do that.
How big is the object you're sticking on the lamppost?
I think they're 45 centimetres by 30. They're about this big. They're plastic, so you use them again and again. They would come out every year. I'm happy to donate money for them, and I'm happy to get a group together to put them up.
So just for a short.
Yeah, so I suggest we put them up next weekend.
It doesn't interfere with the Christmas lights, that's all.
No, and keep them up until after Remembrance on the Monday, and then I would take a team again to take them all down. They'd go in a storeroom somewhere.
I assume nobody's got an objection to that?
No, I would like to say I'll match you for the donation one-to-one, Richard.
Just need permission. I just
Yes,
think that'd be
I
a lovely thing to do.
Yes. And we're just thinking just the high street.
So done with cable
Oh,
ties.
yes, yes, yes. I'm
Just
just
a-
thinking how many lampposts, are we talking just the high street?
Yeah, the new ones, the black ones, let's say, the ones down the high street.
Okay, yeah, I will put that forward
that
and
okay?
get back to you soon.
Yeah, because it's important that we do it properly, so
Yeah.
the fashion, yeah, with the, with the erection of
Yes, of
various
course.
flags.
Completely.
I wouldn't want to put them up and then take them down next time.
So I'm suggesting next weekend,
Yes.
put them up and then leave them up until the 10th, night is
Yeah,
removed.
let me get the permission, and then obviously, I think also if we coordinate that with a Facebook post saying that's what's happening. But, yes, let me get that.
Yeah, you've got 27 lampposts to choose from. Having been looking at them twice today, because of Christmas lights. So, remember, sorry,
I will take that, yes, and then that's anything, unless people.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I've just got something else I
Yes,
wanted to
of
raise.
course.
Again, I'm not sure if this is the right place to raise
I'll
it.
try.
So I noticed an issue with the new road that's opened in the Cross Trees development.
Yes,
So you can now get to the roundabout from the village
yes,
onto the A420, which has opened, I don't know, in the last month maybe.
yes.
There seems to be some confusion as to the right of way on that road. So it appears as if the road runs straight from Highworth Road to the roundabout, and that is one road, which is Bingham Turner Way, and then Lawrence Avenue joins that on T-junction, and you turn off of Lawrence Avenue either left or right onto Bingham Turner Way. However, before that road was opened, Lawrence Avenue and the half of Bingham Turner Way were kind of one road. And so it appears that the residents seem to think that that is the right of way and that is one road, and the new bit of Bingham Turner Way is the T-junction road.
There are no road markings
There are no
at all to
signs.
give priority either way.
I've seen that I've been involved in one near miss and seen another near miss at that junction, and have been back to see, you know, what, because someone got out of their car and yelled at me, you know, it's not your right of way, and I was like, I'm on one road, so I don't get it.
I think it's a complicated matter, so when there's a housing development, the developer will also build the roads, and then it takes a period of time before they're adopted by highways. So it seems like it's falling between those cracks, so it won't have been adopted yet. So-
I have raised it through Fix My Street as
Yes.
in the other category, because I wasn't quite sure what to do with it.
None of the
But
roads have been adopted.
there's definitely going to be an accident at that road.
I've driven along it as well, but I don't think they've finished the road. The road's not completed. And I think until they're completed, they won't be making road markings on them.
Yeah, the problem is it's open and people are using it and it's so dangerous.
Well, sure, maybe they should be stopped from
Well,
driving.
yeah,
I
maybe
don't
they
think
need
they
to
should be.
block it off until
I mean, I did it just to see what it was like, because I've been discussing it with them, and it was quite dangerous, I noticed that when I did it.
It's not fully tarmacked.
Exactly.
No, unfortunately, we've got the
It's
road
not completed, so there won't be any road markings.
Okay, well, it is a valid point. What we do about it, I'm not so sure, but we'll have to see. I don't think it comes
I
under
don't know, I can draw the highways as just something temporary, but as it's not adopted by us yet, it's a complicated one.
They won't want to know.
No, it still comes back to the development, but they might recommend it.
I think we should attempt to try to get hold of the developer and see if we can
Yes,
at least
that's
temporary on one of the roads with a few. It's all it needs, a few dotted lines across one left-hand carriageway.
Sign that says give way somewhere.
Right. Thank you very much, Councillor. The district councillors sent their apologies. They have however, sent a report in. He said, currently looking at it again. So there's nothing terribly dramatic other than to talk about the new waste number, which is now not the old 3,000 number, is now 01235 422 123. We will make sure that's circulated to people in their on our website.
I've put it on Facebook.
Yeah, thank you. So that was the main thing. The Licensing Act Policy Review, if anyone wishes to, if you go to the District Council's report, which will be sent to everybody, I got mine today, you can comment on the proposed changes to the licensing law. And I don't think we create anything from that. I think that was it. Yeah, there's nothing dramatic for Shrivenham in the District Council's report this time. So, on would like to move on to Chairman's announcements. The only announcement I want to make at this point is to say that it is the fact that two of our staff are away for an indeterminate timing, but for some time. As a consequence of that, we are going to be understaffed. We will do what we can to work around it. I would ask all of us, and indeed the members of the public, to bear with us that while we are understaffed, it is going to be difficult to respond in the normal manner. Things will take longer to get done, and I would ask for your forbearance until hopefully things will improve.
Chairman, I've been concerned about this for a long time, and this is part of the reason why I put myself up for election. And I would like to request to join the Personnel Committee at the earliest possible point to help with these matters. As an employment lawyer, I feel like I would be in a good place to do it. I'm a previous councillor who also dealt with lots of personnel issues. I am really, really concerned about the personnel issues on this council that have been for years.
Just somebody actually stood down in that personal committee, and we had to actually replace the person. It's May that the next opportunity arises, but I would invite all those who sit on the personnel committee to seriously consider their position on that committee and to please consider stepping down in order that we can have Councillor Page immediately join that committee. I think it's vital that our staff, our clerk, receives that level of support. Keen amateurs are great, but professionals are essential.
We already have an HR professional on the
I believe it would require a change of the terms of reference for the group, is that correct? Does it say specifically the roles that form the personnel committee?
I'll look at those.
I'll look into it.
I'm not saying it's not a good idea.
I'm not suggesting that Lucy is the person to step down.
Oh, no.
We will consider what we do.
We will look at the personnel.
I appreciate that, but
There is a number of ways in which this could be accomplished.
it's urgent, Chairman.
So we are in fact on item 9, the Councillor Page. It's a proposal of Councillor Page to take over and develop a new website for the Parish Council.
So,
would you like
I'm
to
slightly confused by this part of the agenda because I thought we had sort of informally agreed that I would go to, and then we were going to bring it back to this meeting to formally agree I would go to. And then I saw we've got that we're looking to seek to get quotes to go to, which I'm not against because that would save me a lot of time.
No. I now understand it's pro bono.
Okay.
Yeah?
Oh, will you be able to charge it? As if I would charge the council. No, sorry, the quick one. I was saying that it will cost about 5,000 because the chairman said that the election costs 11, and I said the chairman can take 5 off the 11, and I will work the other 6. So no, I would never dream of charging the council for anything.
I did try to explain that yesterday.
What I'd like to propose is that you do take on the website. Could I have a seconder for that? All those in favour, please.
Good. Thank you.
You're allowed to vote for yourself.
The only thing I'd say is that I'm assuming that in addition to doing the website, we are working towards a government.uk domain.
So I need to speak to Lisa. She's got 5 minutes because it'll be Lisa that needs to put that request in. If it hasn't already gone in, the sign has already done that. So we'll sit down and do that. This has to come from you.
As an
I can get on anyway on a separate server that's not unlimited, that's not part of the parish.
It's the security.
We can put it over once we've done that bit.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Item 10 to propose SBC fund members and staff training for SLC's introduction to local government ILCA qualification. Could I have anyone's views in the first instance?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but there are many of the councillors who have already undertaken training and are well enough qualified to carry on. But it is useful for new members, and I think it's a good idea. We also have money set aside, so we don't need to propose any more money. We have money for training and stuff.
My question is, it's £120 plus VAT.
Yes.
Is that for a number or individual?
Individuals.
I'm afraid that's the one.
Right, so the budget that we've got at the moment, the allocation, I think is something like £175 available. £175 available.
Is it?
I thought that from time to time the Vale organised training as well. You could go en masse to a training session with the Vale.
I think the depth of training that any council could receive actually through the SLCC and actually getting their ILCA is quite different to
Is that the wrong
training that other councillors may have had. I'm not aware of any other councillors who actually have gone through the SLCC introduction to local government administration.
Can I just say quickly, just in response, I have spoken to them today and they have, I think the lady's actually rewritten it with made it more user friendly. It can be done in 10 hours if you really put your mind to it. And it's all very recent legislation, which is always changing, and it's really good for staff and members perhaps to be knowing, the legislation. But if you do sign up now, register, you only have until the end of this year to complete it. But if you wait until January, under the year. So if you sign up in January, you'd have the whole year. Say if something happened or you had other commitments. So it's worth investing. It's just I didn't realise our budget was so low.
However, it is, as has been pointed out to me, we do have some money in EMRs in addition to that. So it is possible. I do take your point. I would suggest, given that it's the 1st of October, it would make sense for people to defer the application until January. What I'd like to do is, if people just contact the clerk and say if they're interested in doing it. I'm not guaranteeing that everybody will do it who applies, but let us see how many enthusiasts we have to sit in front of it and do that.
I actually am a member of the SLCC as an associate, because you can't be anything other than an associate with not clerk. And I specifically joined the SLCC in order that I had eligibility to undertake the training, and I was about to actually make a personal registration for that training. But I won't now.
They don't, because it doesn't make a difference if you are or not, it's still the same. Unless you're a clerk.
Yeah, so I suggest defer it until January, but if you can, if those who are interested, contact the clerk and we'll be ready to select if necessary, depending on numbers. Thank you for that. No, I do think it's a good idea. So we're moving on to financial matters. Item 11, received the financial reports for August 2025. So the first one is the detailed income and expenditure, which I whizzed through, and I would draw anyone's attention that wants to, that under Parish Council election, item 1160, we are 2,880.6% overspent, as we all know. But otherwise, I didn't notice anything startling other than allotment water, because the bills have come in, and there's that, so this year, we're on 138%. So these happy gardeners are drinking too much water.
It's been a very dry August summer, where have you been?
Anyway, obviously you'll pay the bills.
It's happened to lots of you. Mine went up from £36 to £99.
Anyway, There was nothing else I particularly noticed on this income expenditure. There's nothing that caused me concern. Anybody, any comments, please?
Chairman, it's on finance. You'll notice I didn't sign off the finances last month. I'm going to abstain again this month because I have serious concerns. Some of the personnel have serious concerns about the finances of this council. And so until someone sits down with me and explains the finances to me, I am unable to sign the finances off. I just want that on the record.
As we shall.
Please, yeah.
Until we sit down and have a conversation, I've got to continue to have things. I cannot sign these finances.
Okay.
My abstention stands as it has done since the start of the year for very similar reasons.
Yes. As you so wish. Everybody else, can I take it that you're content with that?
Can we record a named vote on this?
I'm sorry.
Can we record a named vote?
Two names.
So the other one is or the next one, sorry, is, oh sorry, I was just, could I have a proposer and second of those? Councillor Barton, Councillor Brown. We've already voted one vote. Yeah, we can. So the next one is the payments for September, which are also essentially entirely standard. I saw nothing at all alarming. Could I, any comments now? Could I have a proposer for the payment, please? Councillor Woodhouse and second to Councillor Ware. All those in favour, please? Two abstentions.
Yes, so proposed was accepted that two abstains.
And then, yeah. It is our intention to extend the hours of our administrative assistant, office assistant, temporarily while we have the staff shortage that we've got. The effect of that is obviously that is by definition unbudgeted because we weren't expecting to do that. So it is an unbudgeted expenditure. I would like your approval on the basis that it will be temporary and we will review it as appropriate. So it would be, in this case, still for this month, from 1st of November, partly because it would be wonderful to think that our staff will be returned to work then. And if they don't, then subsequently, at the next meeting, we will probably have to repeat the dose. Yes, go on.
Does that mean that these should be in every day till
No,
Thursday?
not that much.
One extra.
Just hours.
One extra day.
So
I'm sorry.
are you proposing this or asking us because it's not on the agenda?
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda, which is what we would normally do. It's the fact that we're faced with the problem that we've got to sort out now.
I've got no fundamental problem with it happening in, but I do have a fundamental problem with it being moved without it being on the agenda.
Can it be raised on any other business?
We can't make a decision now on something that's not.
No, there has to be a way of taking emergency action when
So,
those
extraordinary meeting. So
Extraordinary meeting.
this is urgent.
We could have an extraordinary meeting at the end of the meeting.
No, it's like obviously
How many days do you need for an extraordinary?
3, so if it was issued tomorrow, you've got Thursday, Friday and Monday, so we couldn't have an extraordinary meeting until Tuesday.
And how many do we need for it?
How many
There's 11 councillors.
4. Okay, so we just need 4 of us to turn up on Tuesday.
But I would like Peter's input. Are we able to make the decision now and actually ratify it on Tuesday?
We'll probably have to look at the situation. You're not supposed to make decisions.
Do we need to tell Alicia before Tuesday?
She knows I've asked her.
Okay.
I've asked her about whether she's got any other employment.
When should we finish him?
So it would be so
excuse me, this is personal stuff, I don't think we should done in a public meeting now, it has to be done. Just carry on and get on with the meeting, this has to be done.
Should it not be a recommendation from the personnel committee to
Okay, that's what we'll do.
That doesn't have to be so in the meantime though.
well, it needs to be done the correct way. So
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, if we ask her to work this Thursday, for example.
We're talking personnel matters.
yeah.
Okay, you're right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, item 12, receive and consider reports and minutes of committees and working groups. The one I've got is a report on update the status of the wood sculpture proposal in the recreation ground. Councillor.
Yes, I sent out this afternoon, I asked Rob to send it to me, so you could look at it and see what the proposal was. We did have a working group, but we didn't really come to any definite, I know it wasn't a unanimous decision about Lady Barrington being on the model, the sculpture, so really, to do this properly, we've got to have a proposer and a seconder and vote and see if people are in favour of this sculpture or not. It's, that's what I can really say. We've had a working group, we did have a working group, and we took on the recommendations of making a hand in a better place, and also giving a, instead of having all those weird things on a dress, we thought we'd have a 100 years sash rather than that. We know that, I know the working party didn't actually come to a consensus on this, but I just need to know if we put this forward, whether we'd be in favour of it or not. It needs to be proposed and seconded.
So just to update you as well, the artist did do a revised
Yeah, it
sketch
should be this
of
afternoon.
literally this afternoon,
Yeah.
and it is a good likeness of her with a sash that says 100 on it.
I sent her the.
I know, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think the 100 could be better carved.
I'm sure it probably would be a nice fancy font and spread out nicely as opposed to this little square.
Yes, as like art, even nothing else. Case of that, or whatever. Just so it's really visible, 'cause it's really tiny. But none of the symbols that are sort of controversial. So it would be the same thing, and then so that's made of wood. We've asked about varnish
Right,
protection.
got that, he's going to do that. I mean, we really just need to make a decision about
And
it.
put on potentially a stone with uplighting, but he wouldn't obviously do that. But he wants to know if.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
so the proposal is
but we have that later.
that we have Lady Barrington as amended
But we need
on
to
the
say,
sketch now.
My concern is that the sketch is sketch. comes to life in a carved organic piece of wood really worries me.
I mean, the artist works in wood.
But it may well be a
Unless
wonderful likeness in a sketch, but is that going to actually come out in carving?
My proposal is that it has to be on flint, and the flint should have a plaque on it. Lady Barrington, the creator or well, effectively the initiator of the whole, anyway, so I'd like to propose that we accept that.
Parish Council.
Is that on
Chairman, real concerns about, it's just me nagging all the time tonight, I do apologise. I've got concerns about artwork because of what happened with the artwork before. We've got artwork on the side of the roads where people can't appreciate them because they should be concentrating on the road, and everyone's been negative about them and doing it too much. And I'm really concerned about making sure we get this right. If we get this wrong, it's going to make us even more unpopular. My other concern is that we are continuously blurring the lines between VBT and Shrivenham Parish Council, and is it going to be the right thing to do to spend money, Parish Council money, 106 money, to do something that potentially should be done by the VBT? I'm just floating it because they don't want us to be unpopular as a council.
No, I just think the money, that's why you were involved, Bob, because it's 106 months. Yeah.
But the good Baroness did do a great deal for the village as a whole, not merely allowing this place in the referee, for the village as a whole. So I don't think it's unreasonable
Going back
for
to
the
the
Parish
other
Council to do that.
Going back to the other artwork, Oxfordshire County Council refused to put it where we wanted it to be put, and therefore it's in the most stupid of places, and we couldn't do nothing about it.
Appreciate it.
Because it
You
was
can't see
based
it
on green.
unless you try.
Actually, I'm against it all. I think it's a total waste of money. Money could be spent somewhere much more reasonably, but we're stuck with laws and rules, and there's money set aside for artwork that we don't want, and we know what it should be and where it should be. And I'm going to abstain from this. I don't know anymore.
What Councillor?
As I said at our last meeting, I think it's entirely appropriate that we celebrate the Viscountess in some form. However, I believe that waiting until we have an opportunity and money to do it in a proper and respectful manner, such as a bronze bust that resides here in the hall, is a far better way to honour the lady. I'm very concerned about vandalism, weathering, the longevity of this piece, and it will be a target, and it will raise questions when people go by and they say, is this what my taxes are paid for? Because people don't understand about Section 106 and the fact that it's got to be spent on a piece of art.
Yes.
I am, if we're going to take a vote on whether or not the Viscountess immortalised in a totem pole style is what we want to go with, I would like to
No,
take a
we're
vote
not
on that
doing
because I want to vote against
We're not
it.
doing totem pole, just need the figure with the plaque.
I'd like the opportunity to say I don't agree with the whole.
Well, if I could just intrude a minute to say the thing that we all need to bear in mind is, rightly or wrongly, we have employed a man who carves in wood to produce this piece of art. There were two possibilities. One was, as we all know, a sort of totem pole thing, and the second one that he suggested was the good Viscountess. Following our comments and the direction he's given, he's produced a a revised version of the bike
Have
and
you
shed.
employed this gentleman? Have we actually agreed to?
Yes,
Yes, we
last
have.
year.
We did that. We did that
Got September 2024.
months and months ago.
Yes.
That's my point, is that we can argue round about where it is and what it is, but the fact remains is we are faced with essentially a choice of a timber figure of some kind. And the majority feeling, as I understood it, was from the working group, the majority feeling was that the bike and vest was a better bet than the totem pole from a choice of two. And I'm putting it to you now that I think we should now get on with it and accept what we've got, because we are down the road already and we owe him money for his initial work. So, that's what I
The military use of the criticisms that Councillor Wingfield has come up with are as relevant to the totem pole as it is to the statue. We're always going to be criticised. I suspect we need to have a little publicity. We need to put it in the news. We need to go on social media so that the village understands what we're doing. We are required to spend this money. We've got this money to spend a statue, and we've commissioned it, and this is what's happening.
We've got the money.
just on City Council.
Has the location changed from when we discussed it previously, which is...
So far as I know, it's still the intention.
It's right next to the anti-social red shed.
And that's kind of both sides of where you come into the car park. They're kind of just like dead land. It's not.
It's a good place for something, isn't it? It's a good place. My concern.
Your suggestion, Richard.
It's a good place to put something, but it's very close to that.
But really, for today, the location is somewhat irrelevant because, like with the S statues, the locations can change. What we spoke on today is if we have the Vitality Barrels and statue, right?
Could we have her at the back of the building?
Did you listen to what Lucy just said?
Right.
I'm sorry.
We're not getting this on the location.
I'm so sorry.
I really think we need to make a decision on this. We can't really go on any longer. Or put that in the poor person.
So you're making a proposal and I send it.
It's just an update. It is just an update. I haven't put a proposal because I thought we were going okay.
Oh, right, well then we've got to wait. Oh, yeah. That's next month. We've got to wait another month then.
Well,
Or maybe we don't need a proposal because we've already engaged in.
Should be done this year. This is the centenary year.
this is true. You know, it's going to the end of the year.
Excuse me, if you want to see an example, right, of the founder of Swindon as opposed to the founder of Shrivenham, Daniel Gooch, in wood, in St Mark's Park, next to the railway village. Fantastic.
In wood?
In wood.
Oh.
Fantastic. Might be you can go and see it and see if you want something similar. Daniel Gooch, founder of Swindon.
Okay, we'll treat it as an update and it doesn't need a vote.
It's not
We'll move on. Thank you.
Are we going to the right
Have you wasted the money?
I'm going to move on to item 13. We see such communications as person John who wish to lay before the council. And I have something to lay before the council because it only came in this afternoon. That is A letter from the Fate Committee. They have been working hard, as you may be aware, to get funding for new Christmas lights. There is money that the Parish Council put aside last year specifically for renewing the lights because they're out of time. But we don't have enough money, which is why the Fate Committee was invited to assist, which they have done. So I'm merely reporting it to you at this stage, okay?
Excuse me, Chair. Can I register a conflict of interest?
Sorry?
I have a conflict of interest because I'm a member of the committee.
That's very true. And so am
Should
I.
I speak to the...
Council aware. There are no financial decisions to be taken at this point. That's why, because it's only just come in, obviously it can't be on the agenda anyway, so I was reporting to you, and the chairman's announcements were said, that the letter has come in, and the substance of the letter is, I'm writing to ask if the Parish Council is willing to purchase the new lights on behalf of the community. We expect our contribution, that is the Fate Committee, to be in the region of £6,000 with the budgeted earmarked reserves of the council. This will be within the budget. And secondly, asking the council, us, to make a financial contribution towards the overall cost. We will use the donations we've collected to make up the difference. This approach ensures the lights remain a community asset supported by both the Parish Council and the local residents and businesses who contributed. We'd be very happy to provide more detail, blah, blah, blah. Now, the only thing that is tricky is that at the bottom of it, he says, timing is fairly urgent to ensure we get the lights ordered and delivered in time. We would need to order them in the next few days. That would be grateful if this could be moved forward quickly. Because we didn't have this letter prior to today, I couldn't bring it forward on the agenda for obvious reasons. However, we have money set aside specifically for Christmas lights, and we took we actually discussed it in principle in full January, I think, it was a long time ago, and set money aside specifically for this purpose. So the overall proposal from the Fate Committee, I would welcome your views, not in your vote, but views on who you think this is a good thing that for us to support.
I thought we'd already voted on this a long time ago and agreed that this is
Actually, no, we actually voted or set money aside, I can't remember which. Councillor Taylor.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think we should do it. But I think I would like us as a council to have a say in what the Christmas lights look like. Make sure we get something that's classic, that's timeless, and it isn't going to go out of fashion that we can have for years to come. So I very much say we should go for it, but I would like a firm say amongst us all as to what they look like.
I'm sure that we can arrange for the proposals to be passed to all the councils to see at this stage. We're not taking decisions today because we can't.
And if we need an extraordinary meeting, then perhaps
If we
ought
do
that.
we need to get the stuff we do. But that's all I wanted to say on my announcements. Finally, to receive reports from council on behalf of the council. Has anybody attended a meeting on behalf of the council? I don't think I'm aware of any. Sorry,
Councillor Wenko and I did some visiting. That's a meeting.
Yeah, we picked up some litter. We picked up some litter.
Thank you very much.
Organised. Yes,
Thank you very much. Planning matters update, Councillor Barker.
Yeah, we had a planning meeting last week. Unfortunately, because of all the staffing problems, we haven't got the minutes available for you. But I can tell you we've got really good news as far as planning is concerned. Everything has been granted apart from one new application and one awaiting. The new application is a reapplication and we need to deal with it this evening because of the date when it has to be agreed. It's at Beckett Cottage, 25 Park Avenue, just off Longcott Road. We've had 2 applications for it before, both of them we agreed, we have no objections to, and it's a new application. I understand, I made some inquiries, that because they had problems with the original developer and the original building, they've had to resubmit with a new plan, but it's very little different from the one before. It's just to do with details that they have to agree with the new developer. So I would suggest that we have no objections to this as we have before, and that's what I propose, so we can get it through and respond to the mayor in time before school.
I'd be happy to second that.
Thank you. The other one's granting 5 Coxes Road, 1 Trajan Road, 31 Fairfield Way, the smelting yard and the Shrivenham School. All those have been granted, and we've got one still awaiting, and that's the land to the west of Northwood Cross. It might be something to do with what came up before. The new access to the golf course for grounds maintenance, which we have opposed, and it's still awaiting determination. There isn't. I was a member until last year, but my own personal health stopped me from carrying on playing there. But I can tell you, it's absolute rubbish. There is no requirement for that road at all, except to develop that plot of land and to get permission to build on it. So we're waiting for that to happen. So that's what happened. Those are the planning applications that have gone through, and the only one awaiting is one that the Northwood Road close and the new one which I've just presented to you. Okay. We can move on then to the next one, yes? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just say, you can't make a decision on the planning matter tonight because it's not on the agenda.
Well, it's on my report. You know, we have to make a decision, we have to get it in.
Was it one of the ones that I emailed you
Yes,
today?
yes,
Just this afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We normally have a list on the...
I know.
And we didn't produce a list on the planning that should have been there.
We did look. There was nothing to update, and we had to get it out.
Yeah.
And then the reports only just came this afternoon.
Yeah.
And you have to give 3, it has to be on the agenda to say any proposal. I'm sorry.
Lisa, I wonder whether we could have an extraordinary meeting to clear all of
We're going to need
stuff.
that, absolutely.
Because there's quite a few things. Could we do that, do you think? Maybe on Tuesday? Or Wednesday?
Next week?
No.
I need
I can do daytime, if that helps, if we can get a
Yeah,
quorum
I
in
can't.
daytime.
I'm at the hospital Tuesday and Wednesday next week, unfortunately. Maybe we can sort that out after the
Yeah, if we can sort that out. I do think we do need to have an extra
carry on.
meeting.
Yes, I take your point. Right.
But if it's just coming this afternoon,
Yeah, I came on yesterday.
you know.
Let's see what happens.
Right.
Yeah. Item 16.
Item 16, Councillor 16. Yes, item 16. In response to the Swindon local plan, which is again either.
You will recall that at the last council meeting, Councillor Ware brought up the subject about the Swindon local plan and what we were going to do about it, if anything. And we talked about it at the planning meeting, and it was agreed that Councillor Ware and I would, discuss this amongst ourselves. We would read the local plan, and delightful that was. But we did, and we've gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. The only thing that we could see that really we could talk about was traffic problems. If they're building 10,000 houses just down the A420, it is going to make the A420 an absolute nightmare. So I went and looked at what we were talking about there. I wrote the comments for you to see. I sent them out to everyone a day or 2 ago, just to give you the chance to see them before this evening's meeting. But basically I've said that they need to have some better plans than they had before, particularly their traffic plan, which was written 5 years ago. It bears no relationship to the situation that prevails now, particularly with building new houses and also the delivery situation with Cemetery Park and the other development that's north of the Sainsbury's roundabout, where they're building stuff there as well. So we've got all this massive traffic coming along at the A420, it's getting worse, because it's a nonsense to expect them to go down to the M4, along the M4, back up to Oxford, and then on to places east and north of there, which is what I've commented about. And I've just said that they need to discuss things with people living in the villages to the east of where the developments are going to take place. So, and ask them to include it. And we're going to send this to Oxford, but I need to have the agreement here first before we send it to our Oxford County Council members and also to the Vale.
I was going to say, because Porton Parish Council have also raised, as well as the
Yes.
traffic issue, they're severely concerned about all the houses that are going to then fall in the catchment for Elm Tree Surgery
Yes.
as well, because
Yes.
that would be the nearest surgery.
Well, maybe.
There will be one in South Moscow.
Yes, there is one
Yes.
proposed
Yes.
in the plans, I
Yes.
believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where the 2,380 houses are.
Yeah. Where the other 8,000 get their medical thing out from, I don't know. And I doubt it's going to be here.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they're looking into that. I mean, it's very, very vague as this is a local plan. It doesn't tell you an awful lot about various things like doctor's surgeries and so on. But they have a school plan
Yes.
and they have a doctor's surgery plan in South Boston.
I read the draft and I agree with everything that was said in there, and I'd just like to thank you both for taking the time to read it, because I know that's the kind of thing that just sends you to sleep. How many cups of coffee did it take?
Obviously, more than anything, is the fact that we are directly affected by what's going on in the buildings, and they just never ever consider where we can help. I mean, we can actually help them.
You'll
Which is
notice-
why we want OCC to really concentrate on the 420.
Yes.
And I know the Vale are actually preparing a response.
Yes,
Cat have actually said that, so hopefully we'll get copies from both of you. Thank you.
You'll notice that I had a dig at them about the fact that they obviously completely ignored our comments about the planning application for the eastern villages that we
I recognise your penmanship.
Okay. Thank you, and thank all of you.
So,
sorry.
we ought to have a vote because we've got to send it to them. Are we agreed that we're all agreed? I propose that we send this as it is to the Swindon and also copies to the Vale and Oxford County.
I'm prepared to vote those in favour, yes. Done. Thank you very much indeed. And I found it a tedious read as well. Item 17, to receive an update on community activities.
Councillor Page and I went litter picking.
Sorry, I raised it at the wrong point.
Only once. I just have to stress it was only once, not twice, although it's illegal.
Thank you.
So, some of you may know we have a play on Friday night, which I think is a community activity, I'm not sure. But it's certainly to do with the centenary of the village, so I'd like to make sure it's called Shrivenham Then and Now.
Yeah. And what's it called?
Then
and now.
And there's a jazz festival on Saturday.
I believe you should have declared an interest then, Stephen. Any more? No, I think we can move on. Thank you. Item 18, the update on the community transport rep. It says project with community rep. I regret to say that my candidate has failed to respond to me, and I didn't ask him soon enough to be able to badger him properly. So I apologise to all of you for failing once again. And the way this is going, I'm going to end up as the fucking transport rep. we will move on. Oh, sorry.
In the spirit of wanting to actually take on more things where there are people already doing them, I'm doing it.
Would you like me to send you the link telling you what
Yes,
it is for
please.
your three online meetings a year?
Well, having a conversation with both our members of staff about actually rolling up my sleeves and getting in and doing the scut work that no one else wants on this
That's
challenge.
very kind. It's 3 online meetings a year, and you merely, after
I just
the next meeting, and the next meeting after one of those, you give us a quick update.
All right then.
That is
Don't
very
know
much
if
But
it's
you better be really nice to me now.
I don't want to those meetings, you do not know what you've had.
How much regret that my man is going to come back to me?
We don't do it
I'll do it for a year.
Thank you very much, I do appreciate it. Moving on then to School Liaison Councillor Jones. Much to say?
A little bit. Shrivenham School, the statue that was outside the old school is now going to be put up in front of the new school soon. It's waiting to have a stake repaired, but they've someone to do this. They've got a sponsored run to raise money for their playground equipment, which I spoke about last time, and they've raised £1,175, and the run is in 4 weeks' time. And the field at the back is now open. Good thing. And the second school, it still hasn't opened. They're still waiting for the Department of Education to give them the correct documents and certificates. They've been round, they've got a team of 12 staff now, and they had a fantastic 2-week induction, and they enjoyed visiting other Asprey schools while they're waiting for their result. They did ask me today if there was any chance they could use the Memorial Hall car park where they've got 40 people coming in December. I said, well, no, we don't, that's for hirers, but they don't realise that. We're going to try and get up to Mountains Road. That's it.
Thank you. Community Speed Watch, Councillor Pearson. Thank you for your report.
Okay, a little longer than usual today, wouldn't it? The team ran 13 one-hour sessions on 8 different sites in the village. All sites in 20-mile-an-hour zones. Top speed recorded 45 in 20-mile-an-hour zone. And 281 vehicles were reported over the month to Thames Valley Police. The new roundabout, which is active, now has a sign on it saying that you're coming into the Speedwatch area, which closes the loop, so all entries to the village now have that signage, which makes the street legal again in every respect for doing Speedwatch on Parish Road. In the background, things happen which I don't usually bother to mention at the monthly meetings. As a byproduct of what we do, we identified 9 vehicles without tax, 8 being driven without an MOT, and 1 vehicle being driven whilst sawn, which I spelt incorrectly.
Yes, you did, but never mind.
SORN.
Absolutely.
And finally, something exceedingly unusual happened. Had a phone call from Lee Turnham, who's our Thames Valley Police liaison, and he gave us some feedback. I've got to be careful. Well, I'll say this within the context of the meeting, but I would ask that people don't repeat it outside. I'll come on to that. We recorded a Hyundai taxi driven through the village, 34 miles an hour in a 20 miles per hour zone. This leads to the owner getting a letter. The owner lives in Manchester, and he said that he'd never heard of Shrivenham, let alone been there. This is quite probably correct. However, the police then started using number plate recognition technology and discovered 2 sets of data which were completely incompatible, including getting at one time readings within 1 minute of each other, one in Manchester and one down here. So, we've got 2 cars, and the one in Manchester is genuine and the one down here is not. Subsequently, Swindon Police stopped the vehicle and seized the car, and on further investigation with the engine plates and stuff being looked at, it turns out that the car had been stolen in London, and there are now some quite significant ongoing inquiries, and this is why I'm asking people not to repeat it outside the meeting.
Because it was into how that could be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are knock-on questions. The Swindon taxi firm has a vehicle which is visually exactly the same as the one up in Manchester, so it's same colour, same model. How can it be that close? There's something going on. What's the status of other vehicles used by the taxi firm? How can it be taxed and insured if it's not the genuine vehicle? So we're very pleased with ourselves. I mean, it's entirely coincidental that we've pulled it up, but we've stuck by guns when the police come and say, okay, we need to look through your data sheet and take that back. Everything on that was absolutely kosher, and therefore, because it's the same model, it's the same colour, it's a taxi which was also a taxi in Manchester. There's something very suspicious about that, and fair play to the police, they found it. Now, the initial offence was the theft of the car in London, so it falls to the Met to be doing the overall inquiry, but it's also being followed up in Thames Valley Police, Wiltshire Police, and there's also some knock-on into Gloucestershire for some reason. But we're asked not to go public on it until it's gone full course, because it might affect the inquiries. But it's good. It's good.
Well, please thank you.
Can I just say, we're talking about transport, there's another, I've reported it to the Vale and I've reported it to the County Council, we have another car handling. No tax, no MOT.
It's an alcohol.
Yeah, high under thing. And it's very strange because in it it's got it's got mobile phone in there, pair of glasses, all sorts of odd things. But I have reported it. No, I don't know. Police were around today. They might have gone to look at it. One hopes. It's been there for a while.
Right.
Yeah. My spies told me.
Chairman, just to do a time check, we've got 23 minutes.
So, thank you very much. Arbitrating on the allotments, Councillor Repair.
Recently did our second inspection of the year on 19th of September with a SARDA representative. So the people who have been naughty have had their letters through today. There are currently no vacant plots, but there's 6 people now on the waiting list. I do have 1 or 2 points going on from what Councillor Howe said in September. I've had several tenants mention the hedge line which goes from plot 94 to 98B. So I spoke to Lizzie the other day to try and get the resident to do something about it, but it may very well be we have to get a quote and do that ourselves, which is obviously yet another financial thing. On the back of 3 seconds, it's a fly tipping issue in the car park. As you're aware, I've now changed the padlock and informed various people that I would like to introduce CCTV, except in it's, we can't have anything which you have to pay for as a subscription. So I think the best solution would be some sort of trail camera or something, even if it's just as a deterrent, because it's very, very irritating. And it's thanks to John and 1 or 2 of his helpers, it was a substantial amount this year when the fly tips. It's just quite frankly really irritating, not to say least.
So you have to revise all the
Yeah.
new GDPR.
Yeah, but we've got the a lot of policy reviews, which is something I want to talk about anyway.
Do we have a power?
Yeah.
Do we have a power source?
No, but the trail camera could be solar powered
Yeah.
with a battery backup, and it's an SD card. So it's literally, if something happens, it overwrites itself. So within 24 hours, if something happens, you might be able to catch them. You've done it just for once. It is.
You need to erect. You'll need to erect a pole or
Yeah,
something,
pole.
something to make it
But
so
you can
it's
have it
out of grabbable range.
Except you couldn't have it in people's plots for obvious reasons, but there's an opportunity that the sort of, if you look at the car park, the top left-hand corner, you could direct it that way, or you can direct it at the entrance. So it's not overlooking anyone's plots, and it simply would be then catching anyone going in and out.
So, do you think you can get us some cost for
Yes.
would be?
Yeah, absolutely.
Two.
Wow. 2 cameras possibly.
And I need that quotes.
Quotes, yeah. No, I
Two
can
quotes.
Yeah, not a problem.
And
And it's consent as well.
yeah.
Obviously, the water tanks, unfortunately, I spoke to Lynn yesterday, and this goes to you, John. We still haven't heard anything back, but we've got a grant yet. So that has been quite a while now. I know.
going to try and ring Dave.
Yeah.
I haven't had time. I'll try and ring
The Climate Action Fund, because we need their money.
That's where we stand on the allotments.
Thank you very much indeed.
Can I ask a
Sorry.
question about the mound that is no longer around?
That
Is that now a new plot?
No, it is entirely my fault because I've been very busy at work. I still intend to be there a little bit more, and it's the end of the growing season, but the hope is in the new year it'll be ready for someone to do.
It's currently in the growing season at the moment.
I know it is.
Can we get rid of the mountain, please?
Anyway,
Nathan, give us a shout, give him a hand.
No problem, thank you, John.
anyway, I'll try to get up to something.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think this is all. Environmental Matters Council, Watson, please.
Well, I think those of you who have been down to the Taffdale Nature Reserve will know that we have some large beasts out there, black cattle, which we've been trying for 5 years to secure, and we finally done it. They've got collars, and if you want to know where they are, if you're a little bit worried about them, all you have to do is to get the QR code on your phone, on the notice board, and then you will be able to tell by a little map on your phone exactly where they are on the place. So they've all got collars so they can locate it, and you can actually restrict their movements by giving a more confined area over which they can move. If they move out a bit, they get a shock and have to turn around. So all very 21st century, I'm afraid. And it's what we've been wanting for a long time, and the Earth Trust has come good in the end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do they sleep at night? They've got a little shed.
Could I throw this down, Dawn? Right? You'll know on Friday at 1 o'clock, Earth Trust are doing an hour and a half trip round Tutton Mill. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Well, it is happening.
So when, John?
1 o'clock on Friday.
Friday.
We meet up in the car park.
Okay.
Pouring rain and strong winds that will be. Look at the notice board, Dawn. It's now been cleaned, so you'll see it.
Good. Thank you for that. Moving on, please. The Hub AGM, Councillor Jones.
Oh yes, I went to the Sustainable Shrivenham AGM last week. It took place at the football club. The report on both the hub and the refillery were very positive. The interesting thing is the future of the hub. We were advised that we were going to hear they're very hopeful, and we're going to hear soon about the purchase of the hub premises will be finalised. They're going to secure a part of the building for the future of the hub, and the works will be carried out to partition and renovate the unit by the new landlord. Early in the new year, hopefully moving, we're going to have to move out early in the new year, hopefully moving back in the unit in March 2026. This is going to result in the hub having a separate entrance and more usable space. And the rental has been agreed in essence for the first 12 months, with similar opening times as currently. And the new landlord is going to try and arrange for a storage unit at the back of the hub so that we can keep things in there for storing items while the work is in progress. And we're probably going to have books, children's clothes, toys and the craft store, not adult clothes anymore. So it was quite good to hear that we're going to keep the hub.
Yes. Thank you. Item 24, the social media, Councillor Brown.
Yes, so there has been some social media posts over the last month, which have been good, although not as much as I wanted, but this did prompt me to put forward this proposal. So at the moment, I am the only one that has access to the SBC Facebook social media page. So I obviously do all the posts myself, so I want to put forward a proposal that actually the duties of updating the council social media account gets transitioned to the staff rather than as me as a volunteer at a single point of failure. But with me retaining the access as a backup, such as current time during staff absences, obviously I continue to support and everything. So so I wanted to put forward that proposal.
Right, I'll second it. Anything else?
I've not got any questions.
All in favour?
All in favour? Thank you very much. Thank you for your work previous on. So, agenda items for the next meeting. One or two little things that come up, but we'll pick them up from the minutes and we will sort out next quarterly meeting.
I will, sorry, you just got about the items for the next meeting. Have you got anything? I have a couple of things that I'm not going to be at the next meeting, so may I request that we use it for the December meeting?
Yeah.
And I will drop the note to you, letting you know, Chris.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
You're not going around asking me.
That's exactly what I've got to, because the next meeting we know is Tuesday, 4th of November. Councillor Page.
No, I think I've said enough this meeting.
Councillor Brown. Joe Easton. Councillor Jones. I'll come to you last.